Hey guys, my name's Josh Parker. I'm starting a YouTube channel. It's going to be about crappie fishing, and basically, just things in life that we try to do to help us succeed, right? I like crappie fishing. I like business things, things that wake me up, make me think about what I need to be doing in life. Right now, I'm creating crappie jigs right out of my garage, making jig hooks, and also I've done a little bit of tying jigs, so I know a little bit about that. And the reason why I do those things is because, I just really like to fish. Avid fisherman. Every time I get to go is a wonderful opportunity for me. I have a family, I have kids, so kind of like a weekend warrior, if you would say. I don't always get to go fishing, but it's something that I definitely like to do. So I will be posting videos from time to time, just trying to start a channel to talk about crappie fishing and bluegill fishing as well. I like to do both, and if I can get on the crappie, I'll get on the crappie, but if I can't get on them, I'll get on the bluegill. Not by any means a perfect fisherman, but I do try to succeed at them. Right now I've been making 1/16 ounce crappie jigs. I believe that it is a versatile crappie jig. It means that you can fish it in shallow water, you can fish it in deep water, but not only that, you can fish it. I think that it gives us more forgiveness, if that's the right word, in a jig head. So I mean, where I may not be doing everything just right, it can kind of help me to succeed. I like the 1/16 ounce jig head because it falls a little bit slower. Now you can get smaller jig heads that will fall slower, but I think it has the right speed where if you were doing like a 1/32, that's going to fall even slower. And maybe I'm not getting down there in front of the fish as quick as I want to, where that 1/16 ounce is getting me down there. It's not a huge bait. I'm not trying to scare the fish off, but I know that they'll eat a fourth. I know they'll eat an eighth of an ounce jig head, but I'm still presenting a large enough bait that can be seen easily. But I'm also presenting a bait that will fall a little bit slower, and that's my biggest deal. Is that I want a bait that's going to fall slower, that's going to be big enough that it can be seen easily, and it can be available for the crappie to get to. On the windy days, like if you had a real windy day, you may have to go to a heavier bait. I mean, there's times that you have to go to a heavier bait because if your line is not in the water. So let me stop there. I like to spider rig. Okay. I like to have my poles out in front of me, and I like for my line to be directly under the tip of my pole. If I've got an angle there, it's not really what I want. I don't necessarily want the angle. And I'm talking about if my line is not going directly vertical, that's not what I want. I want it to be straight up and down if I can have it. And that 1/16 ounce jig head will provide that for me. But if it doesn't do it, sometimes you have to go to a heavier weight, especially on windier days. So let's say that your 1/16 ounce is directly under your pole. What that does is that helps you to fish, or directly under the tip of your pole. That helps you to fish at the right depth. If your fish finder showing them to be 14 foot down, if you are straight up and down, you should be able to measure that out. However you do it, I know people that, they count down to where the fish are. So you can try that. I don't really recommend that. I like to know how long my pole is. If my pole is 14 foot, and my fish are 14 foot down there, I'll just hold my pole straight up and measure my line off that way. Or if you know from your reel to the first eye on your pole is 2 foot, that's going to help you as well. So find a way to know exactly how deep you are, or get a good estimate. That's what you're wanting to do. So that 1/16 is going to help you as long as you're going straight up and down. But if your line is at an angle, you're not at the depth that you should be. So you may have to go to a heavier weight. But the reason I use that 1/16 ounce is, it's helped me be successful in the past. Last year we fished a tournament, and first time we had fished a tournament, me and my brother-in-law, Randy Slaughter, shout out to Randy Slaughter, we went over there. Did we win first place? No. But it was the first time that we had fished over there together, and quite a few teams there. We came in second place. Simply just using simple tactics, being out there on the water, and attacking these fish. One thing that we didn't do is, did we get on the fish as soon as we got out there? Absolutely not. We went to one cove, thought that the fish was there, fished for 15-20 minutes. We were unsuccessful, didn't even get a bite. So we talked between ourselves, says, hey man, we need to get out of here. We need to go somewhere else, try something different. If you're not successful at fishing, you need to do something different. You're either not on the fish, or you're on a stack of fish, or on a bed of fish, or that are not active. So go on to somewhere else. Try something different. One thing, I know people that will go out there and will fish, and they'll only use one jig or one bait or one this or one that, and there's no way that I'm going to use anything else. If you're that type of fisherman, you're going to have some very off days. If you're a fisherman that can change what you do, you're going to be more successful. When I go out to fish, I don't tie every single jig the same. I'm trying different things. I will try different colors, different colored jig heads, different colored jigs, and I may even tip a couple of the jigs with minnows, or I may fish with some minnows. So that's something that you need to be able to always keep that type of stuff in your tackle box prepared. And that's one of the things that I want to stress to you, that this year you need to be prepared for the fish. You need to be prepared for what's going to happen out there on the lake. And a good way to be prepared is make sure you got the right tackle in your box, right? So I encourage you. I'll be making different types of jigs and stuff like that. But check out my YouTube videos. We'll probably do some type of advertising at different times on certain things, but right now we're making the 1/16 ounce jig head. Like I said, I think it's the perfect weight. It's very forgiving, and it's something that does me well. So I encourage you to get out there and get you some jig heads that are working for you. I don't know. What do you think is the perfect jig head? Do you think the 1/8 is? If that's the case, then why is it? Why do you think 1/8 ounce is the best jig head? I think it's a pretty large jig head, and it goes along with a 1/4 ounce as a large jig head, especially for a panfish. But I'm not saying that I'm opposed to using it, because I have used them in the past, and they have helped me at times to catch fish, especially in the windy days where it's kept my line straight. One thing about crappie that I do know is they like to bite up. So if I can get on the fish and I can know what that depth is, it's going to help me be even more successful. Like I said, when we fished that tournament not very long back, you know, everybody was out on the banks. They were fishing the banks, and you know, me and Randy, we found the fish out in the middle. So don't always think that the fish are always around the edges of the banks. You know, that there's wood out there, a structure out there in the middle of the water. So don't cut yourself short. Go and buy you a cheap fish finder. You don't have to have the most expensive fish finder in the world. That's not necessarily what's going to make you successful. What's going to make you successful is trying different things and being versatile. So like I said, you know, we weren't successful when we first went out there. When we went to the new spot, we were actually kind of motoring up, slowing down, and he actually caught a bass on his pole. It was just kind of in the water. Caught a bass right on the top of the water. From there, we went on, and my fish finder started going off a little bit, telling me that there was some stuff down there. So if the bass were biting, you know, obviously they were active, and if they were active, maybe there was some bait fish in the water or something like that. And that's what we found. We found that there was some crappie down in the water right at 14 foot deep. So it was perfect for my poles because I knew that they were 14 foot. So when we got on the fish, you would be surprised how small the lake got. So where everybody was out on the banks, man, they started coming closer to us. And we started catching fish and was being very successful, while others were not being as successful. Why? Because maybe they weren't trying different things. Maybe they weren't at the right depth. You know, we had several that came up to us and asked us, you know, how deep are you fishing? And I told them we were fishing at least 10 foot deep, and I don't think they really believed us. Panfish are not necessarily a shallow water fish. I go to a lake in northwest Arkansas, and we fish 30 foot deep for bluegill. Now I know that's a big depth. I mean, it's really deep, but we're successful, and we catch very large bluegill at 30 foot deep. And as a matter of fact, it's some of the best fish I've ever ate, because it's a cold fish. Being down that deep, you know, we pull them out of that cold water and get them in that frying pan as soon as possible. But, you know, not trying to give you everything in one day, but, you know, I am going to be making crappie videos. I am going to be doing fishing videos. We'll also be showing you how we make jigs and jig heads, and we'll even link you to some of my eBay pages or Facebook pages, you know, just to, if you're wanting some of the products that we're making, I encourage you to get them. Never go out on the water with an empty toolbox. That is a method for failure, okay? Go out there and make sure that you have what you need. You don't have to have a toolbox or a tackle box that is just overflowing with every single thing in the world. You don't have to have that, but you do need options. You need a few different colors of jigs. You need some that are bright. You need some that are not bright. Yeah, you need some neutral colors, or basically some natural colors, things of that nature. Make sure you have different types of hooks. Make sure those eyes on those hooks are clean, you know, so that before you get out there, so you're not wasting a lot of time. Whether you like fishing with you know, clear line, or you like fishing with a high vis line, those types of things you need to decide way prior to before you get out there. If you're wanting to use a 2-pound line, or you're wanting to use a 10-pound line, just be prepared before you go, okay, guys? Get that tackle box looking right. Get what you need looking right before you go. And look, when you go out there, have fun. You know, invite a kid, take a kid out there, invite a buddy. You know, we always talk about invite a kid. You know, there's a lot of buddies out there that have never been in a boat and never been introduced to fishing. So take a buddy, take a friend, somebody, and go out there and have some fun on the lake. Enjoy fishing. Remember, you don't have to keep everything you catch. You can throw them back, or you can take those to somebody. Somebody may need some fish that can't go out there to fish. So, you know, use your common sense. You don't have to keep everything you catch, but If you're eating it, that's what God put it on this earth for, so you can enjoy it. So guys, have a great day. Invite others to come to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. If you don't, you hit the don't like button. Anything, check out the links below the video, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day. Bye.